everyone, it's Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajilo Olabisi Ubu, and with me are the amazing ladies. Top and Mark Odige, how are you doing today?
Very grateful to God. Some last minute miracle came in yesterday night. So I applied for group family visa, and they gave all of us and rejected one of my sons. And we had to reapply.
Whoa.
And we're traveling this weekend.
Away.
And it was just one visa pending. And my mother was calling me every second. Any update? Any update? Any update? I said, my darling, I don't have updates. All I know is the visa will come out. And they don't work. Qatar doesn't work on Fridays. Like Fridays, like their Sunday. So if we didn't get it yesterday,
there was no way you would have.
So 6 p.m., nothing. 7 p.m., I just got a mail.
Away.
I was like, oh my God. Thank you, Lord. I said, the boy didn't even get it. I was telling him, I said, your visa just came out. I said, okay. I'm like, you don't understand. Because my heart was already like,
no way you would have left him behind.
I cannot. What are we going to do? So, as in, I am just so grateful to God because it was out of my control. There was nothing I could have done. And it was a blessing I'm very grateful to God for. It also is a reminder that as a country, we should do better. Because there is no reason that any human being should have to go through such challenge over, like, I'm going to go there, I'm going to spend money, I'm blessed, I'm adding value to the economy, but because of the country I'm coming from, I have to go through a whole lot to get what other countries, other countries just go in there. Like, you just go there and show your passport and they stamp and you enter. But we have to apply, and then you have to wait, and then you're praying over, when you should be praying over how to change the world, you are praying over things as little as let the visa come out. But in all, we give glory to God. Thank God.
Congratulations. They're spending Christmas outside.
Yeah, we're spending Christmas outside.
Nima Akashatibiri, how are you doing today?
I know. Yesterday, I'm just grateful that I was able to close for the year.
So, finally, you've closed.
I've closed for the year. So the entire December, I thought I would make it to the office every week. But I worked from home more than... because my kids closed early.
Okay.
And so I thought it would be crazy to close for the year. Then I had my business. I needed to supply everything. I usually don't travel, go anywhere. But this December, for some weird reason, I'm happy.
Is it weird?
It's weird because me that I'm planning my Yolu's rice. Early morning on the 25th, I'm at Yolu's house. I joined in the cooking. I start my breakfast from there, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I had to find a way to... I don't need to call anybody to help me do anything. I want to close everything today. And so I'm supplying the last 5 bags of rice today. Closing for the year. I dispatched them yesterday. They had to come back because of traffic. But we'll finish.
I'm not closed. I didn't even think of closing, sir.
Oh, but no, you need to, because, you know, the kind of work I do as a lawyer, people will want to give you work.
Even on Christmas Day.
On the money.
So true.
They have an issue. So you need to be intentional, plan it well.
As media people, we don't think of closing.
Yeah, we don't think of closing.
No, we know on media side there's no closing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, right. How you doing, Miriam?
I'm doing good. Today I just want to shout out to my friend Rashida Tudaye. I stopped by her house the other day, impromptu, and she had fisherman soup waiting for me. Well, wasn't waiting for me, it was for her husband.
Okay.
I got some that she put in. When I went home and I was eating the fish, I had to ask her, please, what type of fish
is this one?
She sent me the pictures because it looked like fish, tasted like meat.
Oh, wow.
It was really, I don't know.
The
fish that she sent me does not look like fish I've seen before. But, you know, she said it's fresh fish and whatever. It was really amazing. So thank you. And I said I was going to shout out to you today.
You look amazing.
Is she from the Riverine area?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I know they know fishes there because of the numerous fish.
I like what you're wearing.
Yeah, it's looking really lovely.
Thank you. Honestly, I was supposed to shout out to the lady that gave me this. I cannot, for the life of me, I can't remember. And I didn't want to shout out
a wrong person.
So I'll wait when I remember. I'll say it.
You will say it, yeah. But it looks amazing. So early this year, I had written my goals. I wrote 13. Then I changed it to 6. Then I came back to 11 of the goals. And a few days ago, I was looking through my goals and I saw that I had checked out 10 of the 11 goals. And those goals are like the business goals. I still had other goals that personal, spiritual, blah, 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 that I had achieved. But, you know, when it comes to money, I like to put money first. So those were like my money business goals. I had checked out 10. And as difficult as the year was, I didn't even see that I was already
doing it.
Yes, I was already doing it. So I'm going to be helping people who want to get their 2025 started. On the 4th of January, we're going to have an intimate session. I'll be teaching goal setting, manifestation techniques, some of the things that I deliberately practiced that helped me achieve the goals, even without me seeing that I was already achieving the goals. So if anybody is ready, send me a DM and get registered. It's not free this time. Yes, this year, I did it for free. But this one, you're going to get invested. It's small money, just 50K. And we'll have an intimate session if you're in Lagos, because it's a physical event. Yes, I want to do a physical event so we can sit together, share the energy.
I'm so happy I didn't do anything or goal setting. I did something of financial fitness. You're doing or goal setting.
Yeah,
so there are enough content for people to prepare for next year. You have no business going into the new year without having clarity.
Yeah.
So get into one course or the other to help you get it.
Amazing. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we'll do the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: police confirm 35 children dead in Ibadan Stampede. Tinubu mourns, others probe. Oni's ex-queen, 6 others arrested. First Lady gives out 22,800 bags of rice to North Christians. 845 billion allocated for minimum wage in 2025, federal government estimates. Bill passes second reading. What stories do we have in The Nation?
Okay, I will take the major headline as, if you remember, I took that very sad story yesterday. And this is just an update to it. So they say the police is saying that yesterday they put the death toll of children during the stampede at the Funfair at 35. 6 critically injured participants are undergoing treatment. The president also expressed deep sorrow over the death and has ordered a full investigation. And so based on that, the police put out a statement, and they say that the following people have been arrested, and they would, investigation will continue, would start. And the people who have been arrested are Prophetess Naomi Shilekwonla. As we know, she's the former queen and former wife of the Oni of Ife. We also have the principal of the school where this event was to hold. Then there are other people like Genesis Christopher, 24-year-old, and a few other people, different age ranges. So they look like, also from the names, maybe staff of the school, all the people that were involved in the event. So they are in police custody right now, and investigation is going to continue. And as the government says, just going forward, we need to pay attention. There's one thing to have the right mindset and the right intentions. Another thing to also make sure that people are safe, plan properly. This is truly a sad occurrence.
There's also, as sad as this is, there's also the part of, the Nigerians when we hear free. The other day, customs were not even giving free. They were just slashing price of rice.
And see what happened.
And about 20 people were reported to have. Now we have an event, a Funfair for children.
Hi.
And this is how we ended it.
As well. Which other stories do we have?
The federal government have allocated 845 billion for minimum wage in the 2025 budget. So this report has the entire breakdown for the 2025 budget, but because it's spread across papers, and I know we'll be doing it all through the weeks ahead, there are certain areas of it that I would avoid. I'll just take maybe only the headline here. So the federal government have allocated its 145 billion to address minimum wage related adjustments following the recent 70,000 minimum wage increase. So this allocation is part of the service-wide vote detailed in 2025 budget proposal that the President presented to the National Assembly on Wednesday. And there are several other very notable areas of it, and I hope that a good read of the article would help in the nation.
Yes, they mentioned quite a number of it.
First reading, so I was waiting for the second reading. Yeah.
They broke down other departments, so they wanted to share money. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a story inside the papers. I think it's because I studied science, laboratory technology. I feel like it's an industry that we're not paying enough attention to. So the director of Federal Science Equipment Center, Ijaniki, Lagos, Mr. Ismaila Yekini, has said that the dependence of Nigeria on foreign equipment is affecting the ability of that industry to grow, and that we need to reduce dependency on foreign science tools. It goes beyond just even about the schools. He said he was saying this at the introduction of a public-private partnership that would improve science delivery by science laboratory technicians. He spoke about in this 5-day workshop, and it was organized by the Federal Ministry of Education for Science Laboratory Technicians at Nigerian Institute of Science Laboratory Technology in Ibadan, Oyo State. He said the workshop is meant to improve the effectiveness of the science laboratory technicians. However, the dependency on equipment being imported has made equipment of science-related activities very expensive, and we don't have facilities for repair. So his plan is, with the partnership of public-private public-private partnership, we can reduce dependency on importation by encouraging local production of science equipment and encourage repair. With small things. So we don't do bulb in Nigeria. Something as small as bulb. So I think it's important that we should start these little things to reduce. We import every single thing, and so we're not really innovating. So if these science laboratory technicians can repair their equipment themselves with a little bit of training, then we should encourage it as much as possible.
All right, let's move on now to the Punch. Major headline. Tinubu orders probe as Oni's ex-queen detained deaths rise. We've taken that story. They say survivors narrate ordeal. Hospitals release corpses. Tinubu, Oni, and others mourn. Debt servicing salaries take 24.8 trillion in 2025 budget. Yahaya Bello gets 500 million bail barred from foreign trips. Marketers project 950 naira to a litre as Dangote lowers petrol price. Wike revokes Buhari Foundation, SGF, ex-CJN, and others FCT land. Supreme Court Hajj Commission orders high corruption risk, according to the ICPC. Tax reforms, Dogara tackles northern governors. Shekarao group demands review. Edo local government, AGF fault states, EFCC quizzes suspended chairman. US-based Nigerian accomplice jailed 40 years for drug trafficking. And ASG begins 2,200 police housing units, donates 260 vehicles.
Okay, so I have that story. The Lagos State government, under the leadership.
See your smile.
Because I'm super excited.
Yes.
The EJ police barracks in Obalende is something that everybody knows. All of us who trekked our jam centers past it, far back then. And to hear that it had to be demolished, brought down to ground zero, I thought, along with the rumors we had heard that it was taken away from the police officers. But now the governor has come and said, and he did a groundbreaking yesterday. He said that they are redeveloping that place for a 2,200 housing capacity unit for the police officers and their families.
Amazing.
If anything motivates me right now, that motivates me because I know that story well. And he also handed over 260 new vehicles, patrol vehicles, to the police and other security appliances to the police force. But for me, this housing is major.
Very important. Can we call out all those social media people that were saying private developers have bought it over and all of that, because they were spreading rumors and probably
and he also said it would be a modern, much more modern. When you pass that barracks, on your way,
it wasn't looking good.
There's this way you see the iron coming out of the decking and all the floors. But now they are going to. It just was a risk anyway, so they had to take it down. But it's
amazing.
Really,
We'll do
really
a short break now. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We have the nighttime and online specials. I want to start the gym, yeah, but do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah, pole dancer does not
You're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person I used to support?
That woman.
Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
Welcome back. We're still reviewing the papers, and we have some stories in the punch. Who's ready?
So, United States-based Nigerian Oluwole Adegborua and his accomplice Enrique Isong have been sentenced to 40 years combined jail term for dealing for drug peddling. So Adegborua, they said he led a syndicate of drug peddlers on whom he instructed on how drugs obtained by customers through a dark web marketplace he controlled would be packaged and distributed. They said that he had distributed 300,000 oxycodone pills between October 2016 and 2019, and so he was sentenced to 30 years, and for drug peddling and money laundering. So how he did it was that he had different people on his web of drug dealing. There's some people who are those in charge of getting the pills from different pharmacies and things like that, and then there are those that were in charge of packaging, distributing. So it was a well-constructed web of distribution and sale of drugs. This is a Nigerian, his accomplice also a Nigerian that has been sentenced. He said they made over $9 million. He's been, apart from the 30-year sentence, he's been asked to forfeit $20 million, and this is one of the highest that they have gotten, from this sort of case. And Isong has been sentenced to 10 years. You know, every day we talk well of our country. We say we should project our country positively.
Positive light.
We also remember that there are some bad eggs out there that constantly make it a conversation or argument of whether Nigerians are good or Nigerians are bad. So I'm happy that in that country, they're able to arrest them, prosecute them, they face the, you know, the consequences of their actions, not just in jail time, even in the money that they have made from the sale of this. So that's good. Hope we learn.
Yes, well. So I have a story here. The federal government plans to spend 8.52 trillion inclusive of government enterprises on personnel and pension costs for federal workers next year. This was an analysis of the 2025 appropriation bill. And the amount is an increase of 3.17 trillion or 5.16% from the 2024 provision, which was 5.35 trillion. The document also showed that government expenses on the payment of salaries alone would be reaching 7.54 trillion, marking an increase of 2.75 trillion from 4.79 trillion paid to federal workers in 2024. The personnel pension and cost of 8.52 trillion and the debt service cost of 16.33 trillion made up the total of the 24.85 trillion. So let me not just give all this trillion. They are also saying that what they've noticed is that they are going to be spending more on debt servicing than it will spend on paying the salaries and pension of his workers. So let me just pause here. We still, over the years, go round and round and round in spending more to service debt than what we are using to pay workers and what we are generating. And I'm wondering when this is going to change. Which other stories do we have in the book?
So I have the ICPC ratings. So ICPC has done a rating and they've tagged some MDAs and some agencies different level in terms of the scorecard assessed ethical and integrity compliance of ministries, departments, agencies, or federal government with the agencies such as the Nigerian Press Council and Legal Aid, Nigerian mining engineers. They scored 0. They also said that the Supreme Court of Nigeria, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, and several other federal agencies have been flagged as high corruption risk MDAs. They judge them based on their compliance to the rules.
Okay.
Some of them don't comply. They are not responsive. When they are asked to submit their reports, they don't submit at all, and there is no response from them. So they are judged very low. And some are high. Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe National Obstetrics Fistula Center, Bauchi Institute of Archaeology and Museum of Studies. These ones, they are highly compliant. They send in their reports and all of that. So in due time. They also put Nigerian Railway Corporation, Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading. They also rank high in responsiveness. I don't think there should be any agency that will refuse to respond to ICPC's inquiry or anything against corruption, knowing how Nigeria as a country keeps talking about corruption being a problem. You should, even if you feel like you don't owe them, you owe Nigerians to say that we are up to date in all our reporting system, and I think it's extremely important.
There should be a form of punishment too now when you don't.
At least if name and shame.
Checks and balance.
Supreme Court is really Supreme Court.
Yes.
No, I don't want to. I will not join Nigerians in that. You know, there's this trending case of a boy who's the court had sentenced for stealing fowl to death sentence. But when you look at the court records, the charge was wide. You know, so I don't. Which court will be before the NJC and defend? Which judge will sit and say for goats? You know, we like to.
We didn't have a proper
case. When you see the details of that case, you will know that there will be more to it. So I don't usually
jump on
so
trend.
I see what
as my legal Leonard.
Yes. So let's have time. A little bit. Vanguard. Major headline: health risks women worsen as 48 million Nigerians practice open defecation. 2025 budget, we've taken that one already. Federal government, 22 states allocate 6.13 trillion to education. Ibadan Stampede, we've taken that. Death toll rises to 35, 6 injured. NLC demands suspension of debate on tax reform bills. And 26,000 children infected with HIV in 2023, according to NACA. Wow. What stories do we have?
So the NLC have joined the people who are against the national tax reforms, and they said that they have ordered the National Assembly to immediately halt further debate on the the tax reforms bill, pending broader consultation. So they are insisting that they didn't carry the NLC as an important body along. They said, why the exclusion of organized labor in the formulation of the current tax bill is unacceptable and undermines the principle of tax justice. So I would like the chairman of that tax reforms committee to come and speak, because I don't want to believe that they did this tax reformulation, the entire bill formulation, and went ahead to the National Assembly without a representative from Labour.
They should have had that.
Labour is saying this is very serious. So let's just
have that. That can also be corrected, but they should also look into the tax reform and see how it's going to work.
They're willing.
Yeah,
so look into it. They're open to
go ahead. Any other
Let me take this troubling story. So the DG of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, Dr. Temitope Lori, yesterday disclosed that 26,000 children were infected with HIV/AIDS in 2023 alone, stressing that there's a need for concerted effort to stem the tide. She stated that 15,000 children between 0 and 14 years were killed or died as a result of HIV/AIDS related diseases, saying that this scourge is very much, with us, and that there's need for sensitization and awareness. And she said this at the inauguration of what they call the Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmission, PMTCT, and Pediatric Antiretroviral Therapy, ART, Acceleration Committee. So the committee is primary focus is to address the treatment gap among the pregnant and breastfeeding women living with HIV, ensuring that they receive continuous care and support by enhancing PMTCT services and scaling up pediatric HIV care. The committee aims to reduce new HIV infections among children and improve health outcomes for HIV-exposed infants. So I think it's an important story to note, because a lot of us feel that because we don't hear about HIV and AIDS, that maybe it's gone. It's very much a part of us. And the sad thing is the number of children who are getting it via, mother care, breastfeeding or pregnancy, meaning that there are people who are living with HIV who are not taking care. No, they can, but that means you're not taking care of yourself. You're not getting the retroviral drugs. You're not making sure that your numbers are low, and then you're breastfeeding your child and then passing on a disease, that a child that could have been prevented.
Painful. Do we have another story?
Yes. So the budget. There's some. I've told myself I'll not be doing this anymore. I'll not be analyzing the budget, but. Unconsciously, if I have taken story, I just took the story last minute and I find myself doing what I said I would not do. The president has submitted this budget, and as usual, when you analyze it, it might make you feel a bit down. The amount of money going to travel was really highlighted, as 7 billion naira will be spent on travel and transportation by the president, while over 1 billion naira will be spent on the same thing for the vice president. The highest allocation of the president is going to the Office of the National Security Advisor, which I can even understand, because but it's 596 billion that will be going to that office, but we're dealing with major insecurity crisis within the country. Then there were a breakdown of how much will be going to the National Assembly, how much the MDAs will be getting, how much education will be getting, the percentage. I know that there are people that do the percentage structure of what they'll be getting, but they haven't done comparative analysis of the past 2 years and what we are budgeting to education this year. Point is, Nigerians should be aware of the budget and check it, even though it will make us feel a bit sad. It will also improve the quality of conversations that we're having with our lawmakers regarding the adjustments they will probably be making on the budget while they deliberate on it. So please be aware.
When you say sad, aren't there parts of it that will make us proud or happy?
Yes, they probably will be. Yeah. Okay. So let me say some parts of it to make us sad and some parts to make us happy, but we can then pull out the ones that make us sad.
What's the ratio between happy and sad?
Yeah. Because we're tightening our budget as a country right now, so we want to see it at the point of leaders also tightening their budgets.
Yeah, our final paper for today, I don't think we'll have time to take a lot. Dangote slashes petrol price to 899 naira per litre. I think I like this one. Withdrawal of acting accountants, general's appointments, and presidency reacts. Those are the two stories ticked here. Who has those?
Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the price of PMS to 899 naira 50 kobo per litre. This is to help reduce transportation costs for Nigerians ahead of the Christmas and New Year holiday. If you remember also, they said that they had lowered its petrol price in November as well, 917 naira per litre. So this is just to help Nigerians. This is his gift. Santa
gift to
Santa came
competition
to Nigeria.
When they are importing, I need to quickly take this.
I want to take the Accountant General story. So the federal government had announced the acting capacity at the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi, and then according to this report, then the office of the head of service advised the government, the civil service, head of civil service of the Federation, advised the president, to wait until March 7th when the present Accountant General would retire, which is already on a retirement leave. And so that clash now seemed like the appointment of the acting Accountant General was withdrawn, but that was not the case. Bayo Onanuga was saying that the spokesperson to the president said that the special advisor to the president on communications and strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, said that that's not the case. He's supposed to understudy the present Accountant General into the expiration of her tenure and then take over. So congratulations on your retirement, Mrs. Madei, the present Accountant General, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Shakirat Madei, who is retiring from service.
Yes, I need to take this one because 18,000 Nigerians are not been able to get their pension. The federal government has confirmed it that 18,000 retirees haven't gotten their pension, and it's because the federal government have not released the funds.
Okay, please, federal government release their funds, so we need our great-grandfathers and grandfathers to be able to eat and take care of themselves.
This Christmas.
That's all we can take on newspaper reviews. When we come back, we take the top stories for today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo Snacks, snack of future champions. Milo!
It all started here. Like millions of Nigerian boys, my dream was to play for the Super Eagles. New Bisco Costa biscuit fills me up, gives me strength and energy to do well. It is hard work and you need extra energy and strength to succeed. Scoring goals that will last for a lifetime. Creamy, crunchy, new Bisco Costa.
Sedap Supreme Noodles is here for you. Because only fine ingredients go into Sedap Supreme Chicken Essence to give it that truly...
Oh, hello guys. Come closer. Now this is not a magic trick, but I'm about to show you the best breakfast show on television. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
This is Wake Up Nigeria.
On Wake Up Nigeria, we take your mornings from drab to fab. A quick look at the newspaper headlines to keep you updated on news and current affairs. There's sports, great features and places to go, and things to do. It's lights, cameras, and movie madness because we squeeze the best blockbusters into bite-sized reviews. Our award-winning and sometimes Guinness World-breaking chefs perform a culinary masterpiece every single morning inside of the kitchen that leaves us salivating and asking for more. Our book reviews is always a page-turner with thrilling stories, gripping memoirs, and fascinating tales. We keep you entertained with music performances, trending topics, and fun Friday games.
And on traffic today from Shasha bus stop.
So you guys plan to set me up?
Nah. 60 seconds is not enough to tell you all about Wake Up Nigeria. It's like trying to fit a T-Rex inside of a teacup. You'd have to tune in every morning at 7 a.m. to enjoy a whirlwind of excitement, laughter, and unforgettable moments. Wake Up Nigeria, your ticket to a fabulous start every weekday morning.
I am so sorry I'm late. I'm currently stuck in traffic. So sorry.
Hi, we're about to start the show. Woo! Hey, yeah. See, we're getting ready. We're going to start.
The show starts in 3, 2, and...
We're here again on your screens this beautiful morning doing what we do best.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyingo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Welcome back. So we are going to be taking the sad story that happened recently. They said at least 32 people have been killed in a stampede at a festival in Nigeria attended by thousands of young people. And they said it happened on Wednesday. We took that story in the papers this week. The capital of Nigeria, Oyo State, where up to 5,000 young people and children had reportedly gathered for an event. So the Oyo State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Dr. Oyelade, had told journalists that 32 people had died. There were also video footages that appeared to be from the scene showing a large crowd of mostly children, that were being carried away. And it was so painful because Miriam had established the story yesterday, and I would like you to tell us exactly what happened.
Okay. So this event, first of all, is purportedly organized by an NGO, which was founded by the former wife of the Oni of Ife, prophetess Naomi. And her idea that she had was that she wanted to give 5,000 naira to 5,000 children, as well as give food for free on this particular day. That's the day before yesterday when this happened. And on the day that the event was supposed to hold, people were there as early as 5 a.m. And but the gates of the venue were not open, so a lot of people were gathered, and because there were so many people, it led to pushing, and in fact, they say long before the gates opened or the organizers of the event came, people were already falling and fainting. Then they tried to open the gate, but because of the crowd, you know, they closed the gates again, and that was when it led to a stampede. People were stepping on each other. As of yesterday, they were not sure of how many people had gone, but this morning when we read from the papers, they have put the numbers for the children to 35. Oh. Some places say 32. And then there are 6 who are critically injured in hospitals receiving treatment. The state government, through the deputy governor yesterday, said that they were not involved in the organization of this particular Funfair event.
It was private?
It was private, yes, as I said, it was done by Naomi,
the foundation,
the prophetess Naomi. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, they said that, but what the government do, during the Stampede, government sent health care workers. You know, they evacuated a lot of people to the hospital. They were giving treatments as well for free. But, and then they put out a statement saying they were not involved in this activity, and going forward, please make sure you do your planning. Today, the update we hear is our president has commiserated with the families and also with the state, and has asked for investigations to take place. The police have told us that the former wife of the Oni has been arrested alongside others, and one of the others is the principal of the school where this event was supposed to have held. And so that's where we are as of today.
Yeah. So I would like to ask your thoughts on the story. Let's start with Tope.
It's a very, very sad, like, there's no other way to say it. It is an extremely sad situation. The death toll of 35, even if it was 5, even if it is one person that died, it is still extremely sad to think that these children came out, they're really young, came out to get funds to help their parents out, obviously. When I read the updates today about the fact that they've arrested the organizers, I just, you know, the proverb that came to my mind is and that means, may we not do something good, and because of our good, get into a problem. Because right now, the blame is organizers. What could the organizers have done better? But when you hear the account of how this thing happened, before the organizer, there will be a stampede. Once we are doing any charity, anything that involves crowd in Nigeria, tends to lead to stampede if you are not extremely careful. A crowd of 1,000. So I think it's important that as a country we talk about the issues with our lack of organization and how we can solve that problem specifically. Experience is one event that they've been able to do that handle a large crowd of people and has not led to stampede. Can we have a conversation with them? Because even government has had situations where there were stampede, not once, not twice. But I would not want us to victimize the people in this case, which is the organizers of the event, because of their good intentions. Let's have this conversation in a robust way and not witch hunt a specific person on this particular situation. I do not want the case of the arrest of what has happened so far. I believe investigations can take place, but arresting the people who organized this event with the good intention that they had and put out there, with the fact that even the story on every count does not say that they did not have security on ground, all of that. All of this happened.
They were just overpowered.
No. Arresting them feels like, oh, let's just, so that we feel like we've done something.
Get a scapegoat, right? Let's hear Nima's story.
Stop being a typical Nigerian. Arrest does not mean negative. It's part of an investigation. Yes, no matter how good your way is, pray that you have your day to explain and your day to vindicate yourself. But you know, they cannot. Women in need of guidance and support is this body, this foundation that she's had over the years. And this is the first time they are doing something that this has happened. So they say, if you go live long, your eye no go see something. You say, now when you go choose, either you live long, you see something. They collect things from time to time. So, you know, they've been in this service over the years. This just happened to be one of such. And 35 dead bodies of children. It's not something they will not arrest. And they will arrest. And when you go there, may God vindicate. Yes. You know, may your good intentions be
not be spoken evil of.
Yes. So that's why they must arrest some people. It will be worse off that we say because she's Mrs. Shilekola Ogunwusi, former wife of the Oni, and there was no arrest. That's the worst, because are you not going to say that even if they come out the 3, put 5 in loan, somebody ought to have been arrested. The organizers would of
Lives
course
were lost.
been picked up because lives were lost. So that's how it is. Sadly, we have an habit or a common occurrence we see. The other day, customs were selling half rice. Half, they slashed rice prices, and there was a stampede in Yaba.
True.
And there was a stampede, something you were paying something for. People stampede. You know, we like to create desperate need around our lack, as if we don't fight, we will not survive. You know, and that's what we see here. She had gone on Agidigbo FM, not she, the body, the NGO, and announced that this event would take place. And this is what they were planning to give for, which is they were planning for about 5,000 children. Because now Agidigbo now is a widely listened to FM. People must have come from outside Oyo.
So we heard.
Everywhere to come there. And they will come early. There's a Catholic church at the beginning of my street. It's the first building on my street. They do this giveaway every time. Charity, they will organize it. They are detailed. I give them. They organize it well.
Those ones.
But people come at 2 a.m.
Away.
There was a day my rice truck was coming and it had glitches. I was out at 12 a.m. I went out at 1 a.m. I went out at 2 a.m. I did not understand the level of people on my street. Which one are they find? My street is usually dark and quiet at that time. And I was going with my husband. I went, who be these people? It was until morning.
You knew what was happening.
The church opened at 12 noon. They don't dey there. So you can imagine this announcement. And then there's also this rush of how do we go? All of you, okay, they were giving 5 children. I have 5 children. All 5 of you, make sure you collect money.
Five.
The 5 children in front. People for don't get us the top, but this is not. It's insensitive at this time to share such an. But how do you use all your children? You know, and so you see what is happening. I saw the lifeless bodies of some babies being carried in some of the videos they shared. You know, slumped babies picking the children of less than 10. The size, I look at the size then too small. And you know, so as a parent, what did you do to protect your child? We understand that the times that I had, the NGO had a good intention of mitigating some form of hardship. It's Christmas, it's time of the year. People want to give away. But this attitude of everybody fight for it, we must check it. I, for one, when I did, in 2020, when I did rice, we're just doing 3 kgs. Initially, we started with 10 kgs, and it didn't go round. So we reduced to 5 kgs. Then later, we were doing in 3 kgs. An attempt to feed that slum near my house. Forever, I've not tried it again. Because I saw somebody taking, still, I don't know where it was going, but he would do like this. I never take. And the rush, they will push you back. Who are you? They will fall on you. You yourself that you came with the good intention, they will climb on you. So that scrambling, we can avoid it. We can ensure that when you are taking, you say 5,000 for one child can feed your own family. Let's make sure that other
people can get.
And we look out for each other. That's what we saw here. It didn't happen. People came with selfish, as much as I can get, I will make sure that they will now call it survival of the fittest. And all of those selfish things I will disguise in good words and call ambitiousness. I don't understand. And now see what we ended up with. 35 kids and so 5 others in critical conditions. In critical condition. And we, you know, the people who thought they would get, how do they feel after? How did you feel,
knowing that people died in this?
Next month, announce another 5,000.
We'll see the same crowd. But we'll come to that. Let me hear Miriam's talk.
I get it. Nigerians do have the attitude of, you know, when there's free, we just go there and we rush. But, I mean, given the timing of when it happened, and I don't know, that's not where I'm focusing my own anger right now, because I'm also quite angry about how it turned out, because we have a history. If you're a Nigerian and you're going to do something for the crowd, you have heard of times where Stampede happened, so we should do better. We have heard of incidences where schools organize events and then accidents happen, and because of that we've seen schools do better. They make sure that everything concerning health and safety is put in place. You put your ambulance on the ground, you know, everything. And even in that case, accidents still happen. But then to organize something that you know so many people are going to come, you know, that's the truth. you know that this is Nigeria. And when you announce that there's free something, it would go haywire. So you need to make sure that you've got your planning well. Look at all these Funfair events. What do you call them? The fun... no, the fun places that children go to.
For children, especially this
as
season.
Organized as those places are, and they've put everything, there are still incidents and accidents that happen. And for me, we do not have the culture of proper health and safety measures put in place, and that is where my anger is. Yes, Nigerians, human beings will be human beings, but there has to be structure that allows them or that forces them to behave a certain way when they're there. I've seen Oyinbo people, they have hungry people as well. True. They have shelters as well. They have, what do you call those food places that they come to get food? Food kitchens. And they are on a queue. Yes. And it takes them for as long as it should take them.
They get it.
One after the other. And that's because there's a structure to make sure that it's done properly. And if anything were to happen to these people who do not have shelter, do not have influence, do not have money, they will come for you, the organizer. And the thing is, to say that because she's the or to say that it may be like a witch hunt, I don't agree. It's not a witch hunt. I think that the government did the right thing by arresting, and I agree with you, Nima. Arresting does not necessarily mean that they have thrown away, they've locked you up in a dungeon and thrown away the keys. It means that they have started investigation, and then we will know to what extent, you know, Prophetess Naomi, you know, was involved. Because sometimes you find that with organizations like this or events like this, people tend to put their names and their faces, but they are not part of the day-to-day and making sure this is done right and this is put in place. She just has a few people that, you know, she could have, a few people that she's put in place. Is the venue ready? Yes, everything is done. Is this ready? Yes, it's done. You know, we don't make sure that we are part of it. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, having people to help. But it also makes us more, what it will do in the future is that it will make you more, you take your time to put your face or your image to something. If you cannot stand for it, if you cannot make sure that everything has been put into place. Recently, you know, there's a group that wants me to do something. And as much as it's such a huge, big idea, lofty idea, I love it. But there are things that I cannot be part of. And I feel that to put my name and my face to this, if anything were to happen, it's my name and my face. Mary, I'm longer of your view, you know. And so I'm a bit hesitant. I'm asking the questions. And any place that I feel like there's a gap, I want to know what it is so that when something ever happens, I'll be able to defend myself or defend what it is that's happened. So that is how I would like for those who have the right intentions, who want the best for people, to understand, yes, to want to give is one thing, but to also do it in such a way that everybody is done safely, nobody is hurt. I'm not saying that accidents don't happen, incidents don't happen. They do, but let us see that you have taken the steps to protect yourself, to protect people, and the intentions that you have, you know, goes well. It's good that this investigation has started. I like that, and I feel that we would hear more from, you know, this investigation. But really, my heart goes out to all those who have lost loved ones, you know, at this event. It's truly sad.
We'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
I am so sorry I'm late. I'm currently stuck in traffic. So sorry.
We're about to start the show. Hey. Yeah. See, we're getting ready. We're gonna start.
The show starts in 3, 2, and
We're here again on your screens this beautiful morning doing what we do best.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show. I can go. I can. That's all we can take. I choose to close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still having the conversation on the stampede that happened in Oyo State, leading to loss of lives of children. And the ladies have shared their thoughts on how this could have been avoided. And I'm going to be starting from what Miriam had earlier said, which were my thoughts exactly. You cannot be in Nigeria for this long and you do not understand the mentality of your people. There is a way we do things in Nigeria. We are just a peculiar people, and for us to move beyond this, we must do better in terms of preparation, in terms of planning, in terms of making sure that we tick all the boxes, no matter how difficult it is. It's in Nigeria that I hear that events are put together in just a few days. It's not done anywhere in the world because there's proper planning to be done. And you know the magnitude of the people. For you to mention 5,000 people, you would expect that those 5,000 children will be coming with their parents. Some will come with more than one parent. Some will come with guardians, aunties, uncles. So if you're mentioning 5,000, you should be planning for like 10,000. Security that would handle 10,000, double or even triple the number that you have called. So everybody needs to be held accountable for this as far as I'm concerned. But I also want to ask, why is it that we are not an orderly people? and this is just aside from this particular event, everywhere we need to gather as a crowd, we are not orderly. We're not an orderly people. Even when we carry our baggages outside the country, it's the same thing we see. Once it has to do with Nigerians, you must hear shouts. You must hear people begging you to stay in line. How do we begin to change this? Because I would have gone through the angle of poverty, but I understand it's not just about poverty. It's the mentality that we have that we can always rush. We are always fighting. The survival of the fittest. How do we become an orderly people? Because if we are an orderly people in ourselves first, before looking for other people to manage us in places like this, you will understand that when you come, you will either write your name and stay in the queue. But how do we get to a point where we talk to ourselves to understand that we need to be orderly? We need to learn to be patient, to stay in queues. If we are a people that stays in queues, we will not have this. Even if we are 20,000 who have come to collect this, everybody will stand in line, queue up, and wait their turn. How do we begin to talk to ourselves? And also, let me pause there.
How we do little things is how we do bigger things. So if we don't queue up in front of the bus, if we're not queuing up to get into a bus, we cannot suddenly queue up to get a bag of rice. The people that are pushing themselves to get into a korokwe will not suddenly not push themselves at the point when there is now a better, like if you push yourself to get a seat in a bus, then you now have something that has a huge reward. Of course they will do that. When Mariam was speaking about the fact that I think both of you actually alluded to the fact that, this is investigation. Can I pause you and take
Dorcas, then I'll come to you. Please hold your thoughts. Dorcas, good morning. Are you there?
Good. Yes, good. But I want to contribute to the topic on the ground.
Go ahead.
So, I just want to say, first of all, my heart goes out to the family that lost their loved ones. As a parent, it's not easy to lose the world.
Yeah.
Talk more of how many we are talking about sacrifice.
Yeah.
So, like as you have said, we know we black, our mentality. I don't just like this could have been avoided. Like if it happened that maybe you are planning for 10,000 children, you can hold it to yourself and say, okay, today I want 1,000 children. Then you settle those ones. And maybe you can just take a week to do these things so that to avoid this incident. But
thank you, Dorcas.
Yeah, thank you. So as I was speaking concerning the arrest of the organizers, investigations in Nigeria, we know that people you can carry out investigations without arresting the people. And I'm not talking about this case, I'm saying generally, we can actually do fact finding. But when we do a quick, we've arrested the people involved, it helps to assuage public outcry. So it's about being seen to be done. And it is important that we don't create that kind of system, because that is the system that has held us here, where this thing keeps happening. We don't really solve the problem. We're not doing scenario building and thinking this must never happen again. We lost 31 people in 2022 in Port Harcourt. Exact same thing. Shop for free. And Stampede happened. 31 people died in Port Harcourt. 28 people died in Anambra. 2013. 2014, 16 people died in Abuja. As in, we've had these things happen. And we would come across and say, we've already done investigation. But how come we don't have a system that prevents it from happening again? Since we know, anytime we say we're giving away food, the likelihood of Stampede happening comes up. So the governor of the states cannot say he is not involved in the planning. Because a governor would not say he did not know that somebody said, I'm coming to your state to gather 5,000 people and you are not involved. If it is happening in your local government, you must get involved. You would have heard about it. Lagos State, there were going to be a protest in Lagos, hunger protest. And Lagos, among few other states, went to court to prevent it being spread across. Some other state governors knew they were going to be protesting in their state and they did not bother. They said, come out and speak your mind. Then we saw looting happening. And I was not involved. Is the response of the governor. How can you not be involved in a country like Nigeria when you know things happen? you will be involved to ensure that the good intention of the protesters, in the case of what happened last time, does not become overtaken by the usual attitude of people, by controlling it. So the governor of the state has more resources. You know, I've spoken to business owners in Nigeria, and they tell you how much they put as budget to secure what they want to do. So if I want to do giveaway, I will spend × 2 of what I want to do, use for giveaway, to protect
the people.
It doesn't make sense. You will just be like, I beg, I would have loved to, but I will not. I'll find other ways to do it. So we are, as a people, preventing opportunities that can be a blessing to us from happening. To prevent the next 2 years, us having another case where another stampede will take place somewhere else, it is for us to not just rush into being seen to be carrying out justice, but to effectively ensure that we never lose another Nigerian life to a preventable case like this, highly preventable case like this, to change how we do giveaways, or to ensure that we have a structure that it is organized by everybody. Oh, we are sitting down in tents. Whenever I want to do giveaway like this, everybody, you come and sit down in tents. This is how we are going to plan ourselves. This is how we do this in this state. Each state understanding the peculiarity of the people and how to solve the problem. I'm sure they probably wouldn't have this level of stampede in the north with Amajiri system, because many people already give away food to Amajiri and it doesn't lead to stampede. They have a system, but we don't have it in some areas. I'm not living there, I don't know, but I see pictures online of food being given to Amajiri, and they know that we collect food, though. The crowd will be a lot, but they will stay on the queue to collect their food. So there's a system that we must put in place to prevent this from happening again. The one Nima quoted about the custom that took place very recently, who was arrested for that? The church that took place, who was arrested for it? So that's why when they said they arrested Princess Naomi, my thought was, oh yeah, let us quickly put... People will stop thinking or asking any question anymore when we put that, when we say we have arrested somebody, even though investigations will not...
I like that angle.
Them, no.
Yeah. So let's hear Nima.
Let's not say
because I'm a Nigerian and I've lived here and I understand the way it's done. Maybe this will be a different one, but I do not want us to pick on someone and now say we are making you a scapegoat for what happened when we did not make another person a scapegoat, and we're not preventing that from happening.
It's not about scapegoating.
Okay.
So even if we've not done things right before, something has to be done and has to be done right. The right thing is that if you were negligent in your duties to provide a certain thing, for instance, crowd control, security, ambulances, in organizing this kind of events, you can't be liable criminally for it. So that they did not arrest custom, does it mean we should continue like that forever? So when are we going to lay the precedent? That they have done this now should not be that we are talking backwards about, the other ones. It doesn't mean that something wasn't done. I would like to see if something was done or not. But now that they have arrested them, let's not do that and do that comparison and say, oh, they are picking them, which one's in them. We're talking of 35 lives here. It doesn't matter who. You must come out, and I pray, just as I said earlier, that that they have a good explanation for how things went.
Handle things.
You know that they didn't even distribute the money eventually.
They can't.
When the crowd outnumbered them, they didn't even start.
Based on what happened, you cannot even blame the organizers. So before they even
it's not like the crowd arrived, they organized themselves, they entered. People have only just announced, and you people came like a crazy bunch to come and outnumber them. They only just announced. And so that they will not pick them to understand what happened. They must investigate what happened there. I like what you said about the governor of Oyo State. That's where you see people must be proactive. True. This was announced on radio, whether they write letter to the office of the governor or not. That's why there's government. Government is supposed to sit down and see with foresight that this might go wrong. And say to Agidigbo FM, that thing you have announced to happen on a certain date must not hold. Except I see your ambulances, I see your letter to the Ministry of to the Fire Service, I see your letter to the hospitals. I want to see who are now your manning. How many police officers are going to be at the venue? That's government.
Yeah, that's their
government must insist. We have heard. Do you know this attitude of police saying they no write petition to us? When somebody there's a video circulating social media, somebody has committed the crime. This must stop.
I have a media department.
This was announced on a radio station more national than the state radio station.
Yeah.
Everybody listens to Agidigbo. It's a normal thing in the Southwest. We know, all of us sit on YouTube to watch the videos. So we know how popular this station is. And then the Oyo State government sat back and allowed this happen. Nobody went to say, I have listened to you, stop, order, do not attempt to hold this event. So this has happened. The blame can go round. You can share very well. But my point also is, The requirement of sponsors insisting on seeing videos. There must have been a requirement to see the crowd and the giving. The requirement of the videos. If you do not trust a person enough to give out this, why are you giving the sponsors? Exactly. Why are you giving them sponsorship? Because if the Wings body were not required to show that the money we're giving, they were not required to make sure. I'm just saying, not that corruption. You can investigate the corruption if they were to swindle this money anyhow, tracing and all of that. But they were required to show that the monies were given. And in this hardship of no cash, where were they going to get 5,000 for 5,000 people? Times it now. Which bank was going to give them the cash? They're going to be giving cash. So I don't understand. How was the 5,000 for children going to be given? What were the framework? Which is why they must be arrested to ask these questions. You know, how were you going to give it to the beneficiaries? Were they going to come with their parents' account? Were parents going to come and with their child and say, "Child, hey"? Was it going to be in form of products? Hey, what we're giving, we're going to be giving. Now, there's a part that worried me. People came from outside Oyo in this present condition of our economy.
They traveled.
Where would I see transport fare?
To go collect 5,000. Ah, God, I beg.
You know, everybody just decided to stop logical thinking.
If I carry 4 children, if I carry 6 children,
that's because you assume that they are going to give the 6 children from one family.
No, that's why they put. That's why they had 2 children of 5. They were children as small as 5-year-old.
When you back to Ife, for instance, you lap. Yes. And pay 10,000 from Ibadan to
Ife. Then manage the remaining 20,000. Sweetie, we have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation because I'm not understanding. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
My champs.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials. I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to sus? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's get to work now.
And John, we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
Oh, hello guys. Come closer. Now this is not a magic trick, but I'm about to show you the best breakfast show on television. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
This is Wake Up Nigeria.
On Wake Up Nigeria, we take your mornings from drab to fab. A quick look at the newspaper headlines to keep you updated on news and current affairs. There's sports, great features and places to go, and things to do.
47, 48, 49, 50. It's okay.
It's lights, cameras, and movie madness here because we squeeze the best blockbusters into bite-sized reviews. Our award-winning and sometimes Guinness World-breaking chefs perform a culinary masterpiece every...
Welcome back. We're still having this conversation, and I'm wondering in my head, we know that we are a peculiar people. I started with this.
Peculiar nation.
And one of the hallmarks of great leadership is understanding the needs of your people and working out systems that will attend to those needs and work for your people. It's not about copying and pasting. It's about checking to see that, okay, these Nigerian people that we have, they have a mentality when it comes to free food. They cannot contain themselves or be orderly when it comes to crowd. How do we help them to help themselves? One of the things that I would say is, now that we understand that this is who we are and we want to move out from them, the government needs to now put a law in place for any individual or any organization, any NGO that wants to organize a crowded event. You must take permit from the state government. You must work in a collaboration with the state government. They must be there to help you sort out the security issues of that government. The job of the government, first of all, and the police is to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. So you cannot be doing, like you rightly said, doing something in a state and the state government is not aware. It will not be allowed anymore. That's one of the ways that we can be proactive, because it's very easy, like you rightly said, to quickly arrest a few people and then everybody sits down and forgets. And tomorrow, Nima will organize her own events. This one happens, everybody sits down, we forget, we arrest a few people and we move on from there. What do we now do as a state going forward? Which laws are going to be passed in the National Assembly concerning crowded events in our states? We may not wait till we become enlightened like the Obodo Igbo people to say, okay, Nigerians can manage themselves. We already know that we cannot manage ourselves. So what would the government do to help us manage ourselves better? That's on one hand.
Obodo Igbo people, as we have seen, they are not a special people that have innate ability to organize themselves. There is a system where they are organized. Stampede happens in those countries as well. And when it does happen, the organizers of those events are arrested and investigated, and they will either, and pay the consequences for such an event. Now,
for me, to hear you properly.
Can we just hear me, because I haven't said anything since I just feel like I'm sitting down.
You are going to talk. Let me just take Yakub. He's been holding on while I was speaking. Good morning, Yakub.
Yeah, this is good morning, and then good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mama Didi, good morning, and then Miriam. BC, first and foremost, my heart and my sympathy go to the family of those children, and then those other ones that have been wounded. See, for me, I totally agree with this Kistanima at this moment. You know why? The organizer of this event must be arrested, as we already heard that it has been. And then not just arrest, they should be able to take to court and prosecute. And then your few and the other media organizations should follow this case up to logical conclusion. You know why? Why? Because you have said it earlier. We have had this kind of a thing before, not one, not twice, not even the federal government organized giving people that just found out pre-tertiary institution work at a time during the Jonathan era. They died. Some of them wounded. Nobody knows what's come out of it. So this one should be able to follow up. And then, you see, imagine if you want to give just 5,000 naira to a kid, Sister Nima. For example, in Oyo State, we have public school all over the state. What stopped the organizer of this event to go to the public school where the children located and beginning to pay those children? Maybe in this school, you pick 100, in that school, you pick 200, and then you're giving them that 5,000 naira. Instead of you telling them to come to a place whereby you know there is no earth water, there is no security, there is no exit road. Imagine, Otherlander, there is no exit road for people to be able to run if there is anything going to happen. Now, if they got arrested as case maybe as they are already being arrested, At the end of the day, people will not be saying, leave them. They have good intention. What good intention of killing a children of somebody? In fact, some of them may have 3 or 4 children die. So what do you want to tell that kind of a woman? And then the woman that took a 10-year-old baby to the event, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? It is so sad that this has to happen, but the only thing that can make Nigerian citizens to know that the government is working, it is to make sure that these people follow the rules, and then they are got prosecuted, and you know that, yes, they have been dealt with. Thank you and good morning, you guys.
Thank you. Miriam, please.
Okay, I was going to say, first of all, the word dignity comes to mind, when I look at this event. First of all, there's the dignity that you must have for yourself, which is that you know that you have the right to be treated and valued, respectfully. You must have respect for yourself. There's a culture. Because I've grown up in the North, I think it's a bit different from here. This is something I notice here, particularly in Lagos. I've seen it in Port Harcourt, where there's this culture and mindset of, if you don't shunt the queue, if you don't push people about, then you're not smart, you're not sharp. We're supposed to go and get something there, stay on a queue. But the person who is able to find their way and game the system, that's the sharp person. That's the person that is, better than the rest of Nigerians. You're driving on the road, this is the lane, but the person that is able to jump that queue and drive against traffic and get to the front, that's the smart Nigerian. You are foolish. So you get to an event where they say, come with your child, and then get a certain amount of money, and then everybody is coming, however, thinking they can game this system. And because, first of all, we don't think of ourselves as, we're people that should be valued and treated with respect. In giving as well, when you're giving to people, you must realize that these are human beings and they deserve respect. And they deserve to be charity to be given to them in a respectful manner. You know that, and so you would give them the proper information that they need so that they can come to an event to get this. Everybody has said, oh, they brought people from outside, they did this. When they were giving out the invitation, did they say don't bring people from outside? Yes, exactly. You must give proper information. Please, we see it. RSVP, 1. 2, you can only bring 1 child. 2, you cannot have more than whatever. You must have names. It's because you don't see them as human beings of deserving of respect. You don't think that they need to get even more information. You don't think that this caliber of people have the influence to cause you any wahala. So, of course, let's treat them anyhow. Let's gather them. There is that mentality where we say Nigerians just want to be sharp, but there's also the mentality of those who feel that they have, and they have a lot of money, that they want to just throw money around in such a way that, they gather a crowd. There's that mentality. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but we have seen that. We've seen politicians stand over a crowd and throw naira notes into the crowd, and people are scrambling over each other, hurting each other, fainting, dying. Because if those people were your family, you will not throw money at your family. At all. If you are going to give them, you give them decently in a brown envelope. You call them. So we need to start thinking of each other as human beings deserving of respect, whether as a giver or a receiver. There are some people I've seen who do not have a lot of resources, and they'll go to places like this, and because they're credible, like, please, I can't be here. And people say, your pride, you're hungry and you have pride. It's okay to have self-pride and self-respect. Don't put yourself in a situation where you be killed, maimed because of something that, is for the short time. You will get food. Now, talking about government and how government was involved or not involved, of course, you know that when situations like this, everybody's looking for how to cover their own side, which is, I didn't have anything to do with it. But we do have laws that when you're going to have events like this, you are going to have a gathering, you must go to the police station, you must write a letter, you must do that. And one thing with people of influence or people with government is that they will look for all the loopholes that you did not do. So for your own good as well, you will do what is needed. Now, schools, no matter how small the events, they are putting everything together because they know that there are consequences for their action. A school will be put on the news, will be discussed, and before you know it, the reputation of the school is dragged. And so a lot of schools have understood, I don't want to be dragged. I don't want to suffer for what I did not intend to. Yeah. So I will wait. I will make sure that I do it properly. And when you now have, the case of, somebody brought 5 children, somebody brought a 10-year-old, what are you looking for? Tope, you started it, but you didn't quite, pursue, which is there's an issue in our country. There's poverty. Truly, there's poverty.
That, yeah.
But there has to be a way that we attend to these people in a decent manner. Please, let's stop calling people in crowds like this and putting them in harm's way. Let's find avenues where we can provide for them in a decent manner, where even when they come there, they know that they have to conduct themselves in such a manner.
Yeah. It's about kindness. So my church does giving of food. It's the reason, and while we're on break, you mentioned it. I did my birthday twice, and I did charity, and I did not like
what you saw.
I didn't like the look, so I decided to channel my charity through my church, which is a more organized. They have organization on how to do it. And there was a time we did twice, and the queue. My church is in Oregu. The queue, almost the entire length to 7-Up, had people because they knew you would queue up. So they were on the queue, and the queue was so long. People waited for hours, and they changed the system and said, rather than doing it in one day, where you have so many people, every Sunday, different set of people would come. Then we provided sitting areas because you want to give. People have to stand for hours to collect this small package you want to give. So the church benevolence unit created sitting area for people to sit down while waiting for their turn. I'm saying that what she said about having kindness, and like you want to be kind, but like respect the people you want to be kind to and make it nice. Mariah was going to do giveaway. She did it just this week, and they were going to give to Loma people. They did not say, oh, all the Loma people, I'll go and meet them on the streets and start giving them, then you will not have a crowd gather. They went to meet the organization of Loma itself and say, bring your people. They sat down, and then they shared to them. Because there needed to be evidence. And I know Nima feels like there shouldn't be evidence, but there are so many people where that they shouldn't have to gather the crowd for the evidence. But they can do it in a way that you can get evidence without having to have that large crowd. And the government side, I will go back to the government because they have me online. How can I say they should not blame organizers, and I'm saying they should blame government?
Blame everybody.
There's enough blame to go around here. That's the truth. I just did not feel like, my sentimental side is saying these people really want to just help out. And now this evil, sad thing has happened, and they will now get labeled and punished for it. Even the one who gave his radio station for them to use for publicity self, they arrest him, join people that are being arrested. So yes, there's enough blame to go around. But the government side is, the government cares for the people, and the government is supposed to ensure that nobody can take advantage of my citizens. So the governor of Lagos State, at a point in time, former Governor Fashola said, don't block road and make life inconvenient. Because you want to do party, don't block the road. Before the naming ceremony, canopy will block. They will use canopy to block the road. A governor woke up and changed the culture to preserve the dignity of the people and ensure people have better quality of life. That's the same way. A governor can wake up and say, I do not want, any time you want to do a charity event, please, no longer are you going to gather people at a stadium or gather people and say you want to do this. There's a better way to do it. Find a better way. So we created event centers, which did not used to exist in Lagos before. And the event centers now became a business that makes money and provides people. So the government can find a structure to help do this charitable event, because we do have people in the country that need help. And some people can help. So let there be a structure for them to do this help in a way that does not bring more lives at risk. We never want to have to take this report again. I don't want to Google and be saying, this happened in 20, this happened. We don't want to see it again. Let's say it used to happen, and from when these 35 children died, all state governors woke up. Federal government put a law on ground to prevent this from ever happening again. That's what I want to hear.
I like not Stampede is happening at football centers.
They do. It happens everywhere.
People die for whatever they
believe in.
So there's
I don't believe in hunger enough to die.
I like all the angles, particularly Miriam's angles to this, but government, like I said, government, you are detached from the sentiments everybody carry. You are supposed to be above whatever sentiments the people are carrying. Agidigbo FM is too popular for no government official in Oyo to not have heard and get to the governor or to the necessary quarters to say, this might likely be this, if they had their training in the safety that they should have. That's on one side. Two, this poverty that we claim is in the country is mostly in the mentality of the people than it is really in the reality. I know people who have nothing, who would never be seen in places like this.
And they have dignity.
When I was a child, my parents, we were basically, silver spoon, Paco spoon we didn't have then. And my parents had 4 kids. It was a taboo in my house to be caught at your neighbor's party without invitation.
Exactly.
My mom would have had a relationship before you can step out. But so we need to talk about these parents who simply heard this on FM and said, okay, they are giving 5,000 if I carry 30 children.
Yeah,
my neighbor owned another. The people who carry, there was a woman I saw on the bridge, on Eco Bridge, knocking a baby, a toddler on the head. And as I parked my car to lock it and jump down to attack her, she started running with this baby, flinging the baby's head. We're racing on Eco Bridge, and everybody was just looking at me like an abnormal person. That child was not our child.
And we see them. You know, we started doing break. Very important.
You know, this kind of, and that woman, so if you catch her, we are poor. And you borrow somebody's child, how do you knock a toddler? You know, so we must talk about, so that the baby can cry. She was coming to the window and I was like, I was looking, the baby just didn't, not just gel. Then I didn't have a drive. I used to drive myself, and it was one of those painful days I felt helpless because she escaped. I would have made sure that we drag ourselves to the next police station. How do you knock a toddler? You know, this mentality of, you put a mic to somebody, hey, big power, you know, how is it really? Is it worth it at the end of the day? Now, these people that organize this event certainly they were negligent to the end. They were negligent to the last word of it.
Considering where they are.
They simply wanted a crowd to show up for the benefit of maybe their funders, their sponsors, or whatever. But they took no care. They took no necessary care for this. If they did this kind of magnitude of event, you must carry the government along. Since you did not carry government along, government must carry you along. I will not allow you wash your hands. Government must carry themselves into this. I have not received a letter. I have been hearing your announcement on the radio.
This cannot happen.
This cannot hold.
I'm missing barrister. What's our barrister? Uju Kennedy. We will shut down the event.
Shut down the event. This event will not hold because whether or not you claim to love my people more than me, and I know you have not made provisions that you want to kill my people.
Yes.
Government was able to say that, but then Nigerians, if we were debating this before this has happened, say our Oyo State government, they did not give people work, but they did not let people collect 5,000. Nobody would have foreseen this. People will continue to. So whenever we need to pick a hustle. That's why you must have the total complex thinking to any situation. How would it have been? How would it turn out? Would it be good at the end of the day? You must have it. You must have total thinking.
Let's take a breather here. When we come back, we'll find a way to wrap up the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my SureBet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Every single morning inside of the kitchen that leaves us salivating and asking for more. Our book reviews is always a page turner with thrilling stories, gripping memoirs and fascinating tales. We keep you entertained with music performances, trending topics and fun Friday games.
And on traffic today from Shasha bus stop.
So you guys plan to set me up?
Nah. 60 seconds is not enough to tell you all about Wake Up Nigeria. It's like trying to fit a T-Rex inside of a teacup. You'd have to tune in every morning at 7 a.m. to enjoy a whirlwind of excitement, laughter, and unforgettable moments. Wake Up Nigeria, your ticket to a fabulous start every weekday morning.
I am so sorry I'm late. I'm currently stuck in traffic. So sorry.
We're about to start the show. Hey, yeah. See you again. It's 10:37 now.
Let's have finish.
We have to wrap up this conversation, and I've had a lot from the ladies. We have shared our thoughts on the event. Our hearts go out to the children who lost their lives, the family members who are mourning their children as a result of this. And there are a few things that I would like to highlight as we wrap up the conversation. We need better systems in place. The government has to do a lot more. The government cannot sit down and wait for the people to come to them. They must move to the people if the people are not coming to them. And that means that we must give, even the organizers must give proper information. Everything must be specified on how these events can go. Now, we also highlighted respecting people no matter how much you want to help them. So you don't, traumatize them because you want to help them. You must have dignity for the people that you want to help. We also need to enforce public laws. Very important. Enforce those laws to preserve the dignity of your people as a government. That is one of your responsibilities. And this investigation needs to continue. We should not hear the last of it in a few days. We must follow up to see what is being done and taking proactive measures, which means some laws must change, some people must be held accountable so that this does not occur again. And unfortunately, this is where we're going to rest this conversation. I know Tokma is eyeing me, but she'll be all right. It's Christmas period, and I would like us to take a softer conversation to just end the day. We have children at home already, and there are certain conversations. We started yesterday talking about how to preserve our children, preserve our teens from this. And also because it's Celebrity Friday, we cannot help but talk about Bovi. Yes, Bovi was trending recently on social media where he says, I don't advocate for beating children. You should let children be. My son, they break television for the fun of it. If he's angry, he'll throw stuff at the TV and break it. He has broken 3 TVs. And there was a context in which he said what he said, but it was taken out and people came at him from different angles. He's not training the child. He's not doing this one. He's not able. He's a good father. He's not this. He's not that. And I'd like us to explore that conversation. We have raised children from very little to certain ages, and we know what happens at that time. They are preschool age, terrible tools, the toddlers, and all of that. So let's share. What do you think? What do you think about the situation and that happened in Bovi's house? The ability for the child to break TV and the child's head is not cut off. As a parent, would you advocate for beating or not beating?
Let me give the context.
Okay.
So what Bovi said, which I really appreciate, was that the reason, the context he put to why he didn't beat when they broke the TV was that according to him, many parents beat their children when they do things destructive like that out of frustration. Let me quote right, when they do things that seem like it's being destructive. Because for someone, for you might think it's destructive. For another parent, for the child, it's probably just experimenting to see what is behind the TV. I want to know. So he said that he could afford to buy another TV. And so for him, he simply bought another one. That many parents beat the children because they are frustrated that where will I see money to buy this? So it's like, you see the boy just broke your phone. How you break this phone? In the mind of the parent is, how I go see money to buy another phone? So the beating is a frustration based on the fact that they cannot afford what has just been destroyed. And we have had many parenting coaches on the show to realize that when you beat out of frustration and anger and reaction, you don't achieve change. You just vent. And as parents, we should learn to correct, not out of frustration, correct the action and not punish the person just because you want to vent your frustration. So I heard him, and that was the context with which he puts not beating. I have 3 boys. Obviously, my things get broken in the house.
Very often.
Very often. And I hear it is not as often as some other houses, because while I am blessed that they don't destroy as much as they could, but because they could have done much more. We never had toys last for days. You buy a toy car, it breaks.
Even your children that are engineers, they want to find out what's inside everything. Yeah.
My children would not see a car, and not even right now. I have learned to say, Samuel, what you're doing would break it. Don't think, because he wants to see
what's inside.
Like, I want to see what is inside. I'm like, the way you are trying to see it, it will break and it will not be repairable again. So I have learned to understand that the exploration part of them, and not take it personal when they break their toys. But I will scream when you break my things. You know, I've had cases where they broke glasses, broke plates, broke my sunglasses. So now, as I wear my sunglasses, I'm like, don't wear it, because it would get spoiled. And guess what? My my designer, and it was not cousin designer, this was original designer glasses, and I said it. But I didn't beat them, because I knew that the children would do what children do. And so we must accommodate children to do what children do. But we must let them stop at when they are children and let them understand the implication. Majority of frustration, let's let other people talk. I support him.
Okay.
That you shouldn't beat children out of frustration. Long and short of the story.
Yeah, amazing.
Thanks.
How many children have you killed now?
No, we know.
Give us.
So, I actually don't beat my kids for breaking gadgets.
Okay.
But maybe for not break TV. You can't.
What's the difference?
It's always, when I find out the reason you do something, I will address that reason anyhow I choose, including beating. Yeah. Yeah, I will beat you. So you cannot be angry in my house and you will be smashing TV. Then not be me born you. You branch come. If you say you a craze, not be me born you. You
meet the better craze, yeah.
You want to see craze? So last night, my husband gave Imran torture drilling.
Hi.
Guess what he did? So all these weeks of holiday, my son has decided to go on the car canopies. Since their father got a new car for mommy now, the old car na toy.
Hey.
And they swing himself. Since he's an only son, he go and import son.
Away.
So they do it together.
Scratch.
And so yesterday morning, because the rule in my house is I mustn't find out. Mommy, I need to tell you something. I need to have a conversation with you. What's the conversation? English conversation. Man, what's so important? If you see the sober way, only to tell I broke your antenna on your car. Like, how did you get on top of the car? Apparently, he has been climbing the car to Django. Thanks. So I didn't beat him, because I don't beat for breaking gadgets. And then later, I saw my car keys with him and his friend again had opened the car door. Now there wahala day, because if forever, whatever curiosity reason that kids have, the boy don't start ignition, go press the wrong thing. My neighbor's fence and the car and the boy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen now.
So no, okay, but it didn't happen. But you know that's what foresight means.
Yeah.
So I just imported Imran first. I gave him 2 hours of drilling, locked him in, only me and him. But punishments. And then I went to the boy's parents, because if I had taken that boy along with Imran, he 14 cents a debt. Because I said, I reported, and the parents dealt with their son as well. When my husband came back and I was reporting, because my son was, please don't tell daddy, be a different matter. I knew. I told daddy. And I allowed daddy to handle it. When it became too much, me too, I knelt down, I begged, I said, my womb have not healed. Help me. But
how many years with this one?
This one never healed.
Can never heal.
So the truth is, you must teach these children careful thinking, accountability,
consequence,
responsibility. My children, I always say that anger is a destructive emotion. We are not allowed in anger to do anything. What you're supposed to do, I use this signal to teach them, is to sit down, find a way to count. If you act in anger in my house, I go beat you silly. I go beat you because you've acted in anger, in a destructive. You cannot go and hold somebody's neck and say we're angry. So I will beat you.
You don't act in anger.
Yeah, you don't act in anger in my house. You don't break things out of anger. Their gadgets, all their tabs, they will put it on the floor while they are playing rough. After they are finished, they will match it, break it. I didn't beat them. You simply don't get another
gadgets,
one.
That's it.
So that's it.
Yeah, Miriam.
When I heard this, it made me laugh. Because in my house, of course, nobody gets beaten for breaking anything. But, you will see my face. And then it was funny, not too long ago, I think there was a vase I had, and either my husband or the children, it almost broke or something, or it did. And I heard them, the three of them, the father and the two children, they were like, oh my God. The father was like, oh, thank God it didn't break, because we would have left this house today. It's not that I beat anybody, but you will know. You know, and over time, I think, you know, in comparison, I think my children understand boundaries and not to break some things, you know. So I guess Bobby's context would be like, well, rich man's problems. You know, when you are not rich. So for some of us, if it's buckets, because say, my children broke 5 buckets, we will not vex because it's buckets. But my bucket is a TV in Bobby's house, you know, and so TV is something that can be replaced. So I think all we're saying is that there are some things that children will do. And the best way to handle it is not to beat them, but to recognize that it's part of growing up and they're exploring. My son is the family technician, TV repairer, sound, whatever. It did not come from just sleeping. It came from destroying everything that he, you know, that he had put his hand on while growing up. So I have always advocated, you know, that we do parenting that does not involve beating, because a lot of times when beating happens, it's not done. Especially the sort of beating that I'm talking about, because I've realized that there are 2 types of beating. So the beating that my mommy used to beat me was serious beating from anger, you know, that I can even still remember the day. But the beating that happens after you have sat down to talk about it is usually maybe a cane, bring your hand, you have take 5 lashes. But that beating that they will cover you from head to whole body, that one is exactly, and that one is anger. And truly, in raising our children, we should put anger aside. Take a step away, take a breath, and then sit down and communicate. I know that I'm saying this as if I do this all the time.
Not all the time.
I have a teenager, he presses all my buttons. It takes the Holy Spirit to calm down. So I get all the parents when I'm just saying that, but we encourage each other, you know, to communicate, but
amazing.
It's hard.
I love the angles, and to put in context what Bovi also said when they came after him, he explained that child has a speech impediment.
Okay.
And so he can't use words yet. So they are still grooming him to learn how to, you know, express his anger, express his frustration in a healthy way.
I love that you said that. Because very important. We are beating children that do not deserve beating because of things like this.
So when he said that, he also brought my mind back to when I was raising my own children. My son actually has broken 3 TVs. Yes. And when he broke the first one, we don't react in anger in my house. He didn't do it because he was angry. They were playing, teacher, flogging, cane. No, but TV broke at the end of the day. Whether it's play or anger. He was flogging TV, flogging, you know, when they do that, their teacher play, and you flog all the chairs are your students and all of that. Now, so you carry pankere, flog
TV. Poor boy.
Wait, the line, thank you.
He drew a swab.
We didn't change the TV immediately. The line was there. So I wanted to react, and thankfully for the Montessori education that I had working with kids at that time. So I kept my cool, right? And then I wanted to react, and I waited for the father to come back. When the father came back, he said, we'll manage it now. When we have money, we'll change it. And I was like, you're not upset. He said, I broke my father's TV too. I broke plenty,
boys,
he said, I broke plenty TV. Then I started understanding, you know, because if you see my son now, you will not believe. My son at that time does not walk. He jumps and somersaults. Yes, he was very active. He had so much energy in him. And I didn't have the energy to take him out to play. So I started studying, and I realized that especially boys, they need an outlet for their testosterone. Serious outlet. The kind of play that you take them to the field, put them there, let them play, let them fight.
Like,
you know, our ancestors, our ancestors were able, were able to utilize that energy with the farm work that people were doing. We played with tires on the streets. I don't come home till very late. I am dirty. I play football, I play basketball, I climb trees and all of that. And I didn't give this boy that opportunity to express, because then we had moved to the city. You don't know your neighbor. We locked them inside. So he was using my house as the forest, to climb the trees, to express all of those. And I knew I could not be beating him for being a child. It was one of the skills that I learned very early from Montessori. You do not beat children from exploring. They need that energy. No, thank you. So I'm getting there. So what we did in a way to channel the energy was, when I come back home from work, I opened the compound. I had to tell 2 guys who were living very close to me to monitor them, let them play. I didn't tell my husband because he would not find it funny. Why are they going to play outside? They don't know the people. I needed them to play and run tires. By the time Kambili comes back inside the house, he's exhausted. They will bathe him, he will eat, and he will sleep. And that was what took me out of that phase. This boy today, if you see him, is a perfect gentleman.
The season has passed.
The season has passed. So I understood that sometimes we need to hold our frustration and the fact that, oh, where do I get money to, get this back now that it's been broken, and pay attention to one of the reasons why this is done. If it's an anger issue, there are anger classes that the child can...
We need to balance it. So parents should not beat out of anger.
Frustration.
Or their frustration. But parents need to notice when their children are destructive.
Yes.
Out of anger.
Yeah.
So we had a very short period of time when one of my twins was destroying things out of anger. When he's angry, he will stamp his feet around the house looking for something to do. And I could see that looking for something to do, and I stopped it. That was intentionally not letting him react out of anger. Help your children to control and verbalize their emotion. And don't let them destroy things, because they'll say, the ladies of the abuse say, don't beat children.
No,
and your child is lashing out.
Children know that you do not beat does not mean that
you don't punish.
Do not punish. You're just saying that there are so many ways to do it.
Even me, I used to beat.
There's so many ways to punish a child, to discipline a child, to create boundaries without beating. And you mentioned something. I'm so sorry. I know you're trying to jump in. Where children have been beaten, autistic children. We don't understand that what they're dealing with, and we beat them because we feel that the beating has not entered. That's what they're still misbehaving. And so many of them were further traumatized on top of that. But thank God for education, we're learning better. But that does not mean that those children, that they don't learn their lessons. Or else, how do they get up, get ready for school, be on time for school, take the time to study? It is not by heaven. It's that we're doing something extra. If you don't do this, you don't get this. If you don't do this, you don't... Consequences. You don't stay out for this, so there are things that you need to, that means you cannot do parenting from afar, where you just come shout and move on. You need to know your children, so when you do something, there are things that you do that you will hurt them to their core, because you know them, you know what you can take away from them.
We have to take advantage of every learning curve. When a child does something, as a parent, when you're hands-on, you know why and how that child behaves. I have 2, they are not the same. My son was delayed, and his speech, I couldn't even quickly understand his accent. So what I did, I saw him then, even as a 1-year-old child, trying to say, I see this. He will show. So I used to call him. I would take my time, give him the time, and stuttering is in their genetics. So allow him to drop his point. So I took care of anger. So now he's a very expressive child at 8. He will tell you he has name for and label for all his emotions, and so you will take your time to listen. But that was not the approach of his dad. So it's not that you beat for everything, but if you are in the habit of being careless, that you choose my television to break. Imagine that Samsung now. It's just there decorating the house. If you want it, it's line, you will see. I used mine for 3 years. I will deal with it. If I notice that you go to eat every time, you will explain to me what the TV they offend you. I will address it. So that when you want to get angry, you channel it some other way.
Angry with the film.
When I was a child, I was a very angry child. Somebody touched me one time. I was coming from the well. I broke the bucket of water on the child's head. That's my own style. I was a very angry child, but my parents channeled it. You know that you know how I grew up addressing my anger. I wash clothes. When I'm totally vexed, I will go and pack all the clothes. No, I mean they pack them. I will be there using the anger to wash it. So everybody find a way. You must find a way to channel and your child to escape. But to allow the child just waste, might just go into the bigger world and be a bigger.
Amazing contributions from ladies that are raising children here. We will always test and try. Observation is the key for every parent. You must be able to know your children. There are certain things they will come and tell you, my child did this. You know how the child behaves. And if that pattern changes, you can spot it. How most of us were raised with, absent-minded parenting, and somehow we manage to be all right, cannot work for this generation. We must pay very close attention. And this is also holding space for people who are, dealing with children with different learning disabilities. We must also give them that grace to understand that they have peculiarities in their hands, and also support them in the best way. You hear people say, this child is behaving anyhow, they no train them. You don't know the story behind that child. So always find out before you pass your judgment. Listen and don't judge. And that's where we wrap it up today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Pigeon, speaking it, breaking it. And wish you all the best this Christmas season. Bye-bye now.